Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be taking you out of my beauty room and we're going to be in my kitchen today. I'm going to share my top 3 tips on successful meal prep that have worked for me. And I'm going to show you some of the meals that I like to cook for when I'm trying to do a meal prep during the week. I usually eat these meals for lunch or dinner. So I'm going to talk to you real quickly about my style of meal planning. What works for me may not work for everyone, but this is just something that I've learned over the years and I adapt to well and I can stick to. And that's just macro counting. Macros are your proteins, fats, and carbs, along with calorie counting. I won't be sharing the exact macro counts that I use for my body, but I'm going to show you guys the link that I've used to calculate those macros. So if you're interested, whether you're trying to cut fat, gain muscle, or gain weight, or just maintenance, you can use the calculation method to whatever your goal may be. So today I'm going to be cooking 3 types of proteins and some veggies and some carbs. So I'll show you how I prep that. It's super simple. You don't have to make it complicated. Otherwise, let's just be honest, you're not going to stick to it. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. Okay, so the 3 proteins that I'm cooking is I got a salmon fillet, some chicken tenderloins. I prefer to use the chicken tenderloins because you can, they're just easier to cook and they cook faster. And also some shrimp. And then for veggies, I'm only gonna do broccoli today, tomatoes, and I got a zucchini. I have some small little potatoes that I'm just gonna boil. And then I also have some rice already cooking in the rice cooker, and I'm just using jasmine rice. Another favorite one of mine is the basmati rice, but I run out of that. So I have a salmon fillet here. I'm gonna be using the lemon pepper seasoning, and it's just that's just the flavor that I like, but you can use salt, pepper. I like to liberally coat it, both sides. And then I'm just gonna wrap it in the foil, and then we're gonna put it in the oven and just let it steam until it's fully cooked. And you notice I'm not using any oil, any butter, none of that. So we're just gonna stick that in the oven until it's cooked. Okay, now for the chicken breast, these are the chicken tenderloins I'm using. So I'm going to be using the salt-free chicken grilling blend. I just like this flavor, but you can use any seasoning. And again, don't be shy because this is what's going to give the chicken a lot of flavor and it won't be so bland. And I'm just using a foil paper just to make cleanup a lot easier. And I decided to bake these instead of pan frying them or anything like that. Again, we're just trying to use minimal cooking spray or cooking oil. All right, and then I'm going to also coat the top. All right, now we're gonna stick it into the oven at 400 degrees. And we're just gonna let those cook along with the salmon. The potatoes, I'm just going to boil these baby potatoes in water until they are fully cooked. You can also put them in an air fryer or bake them. I just like to put them in the water and let them cook that way. All right, for our vegetables, I'm going to use broccoli. And I'm just gonna cut a head of broccoli into little chunks. Now, I'm not very good at cutting broccoli, so don't judge me. Good job. Okay, I'm just gonna chop up some squash, or zucchini is what it is. And I'm just cutting it into small cubes. I'm going to pan fry these. Just very quickly and very slightly. I don't want to overcook them because when you cook vegetables and then you reheat them, it's like you're cooking them twice, which brings me to my tip number 1. So tip number 1 is to actually not cook your vegetables. And what I do is use the raw vegetables and put them in the container. So once you reheat the food in the microwave and you have the lid on top of it, the microwave and all of the moisture that's in the food is actually going to steam the broccoli. You can do this with broccoli, green beans, and asparagus. I've actually done it with all those three vegetables. I think another reason why people don't like to do meal prep, especially with vegetables, is that you end up getting soggy vegetables when you reheat your food, and that's not fun. This way, the broccoli and the green beans, it all stays crunchy. If you still like that little crunch, they're not soggy and they're really fresh. But if you don't want to steam your vegetables and you actually want to cook them, I use this cooking spray. That way you're not using too much oil. It's just canola. They also have the olive oil cooking spray, and I'll just lightly spray the pan. And I'm going to throw in my zucchini and just add salt and pepper. Again, I don't want to overcook it or cook it all the way until it's done, because again, when you reheat the vegetables, it's just going to cook them again and you're going to end up with soggy vegetables. All right, so I have some shrimp here that I just put salt and pepper on, and then I already have the pan pretty hot. Excuse this pan, it's been through some stuff here. And I'm using the olive oil. I'm going to lightly coat the pan and then toss in the shrimp. So the sauce I'm going to be using for the shrimp is the sweet and sour Asian sauce. I really like this flavor with the shrimp, and you get 17 grams per serving, which is only 25 calories. And you can see that there's zero fat, only 6 carbs, and 0 protein. These are really good macros, which brings me to my next tip number 2. So my tip number 2 is don't be afraid to use sauces, whether it's a dipping sauce or a sauce that you used to cook with. I like incorporating several different kinds of sauces because it changes up the flavor of your meat. Whether it's chicken or beef, I myself don't like the taste of leftover chicken, for example, so adding sauces really changes things up and it makes your meal more interesting. However, when you're using the sauces, you really want to make sure you're paying attention to the nutrition label as well as the serving size. You can go overboard with the sauces and you end up adding unnecessary calories. So really be careful with the amount of sauce that you're using and that you're paying attention to the label. All right, so now I'm going to measure out the sauce. I have 37 grams of the sauce, the Asian sauce that I'm using. And I'm just going to pour it directly on the shrimp. But first, we're going to give the shrimp a turn over so that they're cooking evenly. And then right before they're done cooking, we'll add the sauce. And I'm only adding the amount that I measured out. Again, you don't want to go overboard with the sauce. You could be adding extra hidden calories. Okay, so when it comes to sauces, I'm going to show you guys my favorite ones and I've actually found all of these at Walmart or Kroger. Let's talk about these 3 sauces first. These are some of my favorites. The G. Hughes sauce. They have a sugar-free line now. So they have the hickory barbecue, sweet and spicy barbecue, and then one of my favorites is the honey mustard. All of these are sugar-free. The macros are really good. You can see 20 calories, 10 calories. This one is, I think, also 10 calories. But just to kind of show you for reference, like this honey mustard is only 1.5 grams of fat and only 1 carb. So if you are watching your carbs, this one's only 2 carbs. Some really, really good sauces here. They're super flavorful. You wouldn't think that they were sugar-free. And then for cooking sauces, these are 2 of my favorites. So the orange Asian style chicken or orange Asian style sauce. This one's a little bit higher, but you get for 2 tablespoons is 45 calories. And then this is the sweet and sour sauce that I've just used. Again, you really want to pay attention to the labels. So these are really good for cooking. And these I like to use after I've reheated my food and just kind of add as a dipping sauce for my chicken. Another one of my favorites is this, and you can see I'm almost out of it, is this Southwest hot mustard I got from Walmart. Super, super good. It's tangy, it's like sweet and also a little spicy. This goes really good on ground beef and on chicken as well. And look, again, the macros are really good. It's for 1 teaspoon, 10 calories, 0 fats, 1 gram of carbs, 0 protein. So again, another one of my favorites. And I like to add a lot of spice, especially to my chicken and my fish. This is another one of my favorites. And I'm sure you guys have seen this at the store. I'm trying to get it to zoom in, but it is, again, is 0 calories, pretty much 0 fat and also 0 carbs. So This is just really, really good spice. And of course, sriracha, you can't go wrong with that. For those of you that like to eat your food with ketchup, I don't. In my case, I really don't. But there's also a no sugar added ketchup, and there's also a sugar-free one. So it's better than the normal ketchup. So for those of you that like to use ketchup with your food. So these are my top recommended sauces. Again, sauces make a huge difference so that you can change up the flavor in your food. Again, the key is just to really measure out the amount that you want to use because you can easily go over it. So yeah. I totally forgot about this find. I found it on Aldi. It's tikka masala sauce, and it is only 50 calories for a quarter cup, 70 grams. 1/3, actually 3 grams of fat and 5 carbs and 1 protein. But this sauce is so good with chicken. This is the one that I'm going to use today. You can use it as a cooking sauce, but I personally just add it to when I'm preparing the containers so that when I reheat it, the sauce goes really well with the chicken. Or you can just cook it with the chicken. But anyway, this is another one of my favorites. Okay, so my potatoes are done. I'm just gonna add a little salt while they are still hot. And I'm also gonna add some I'm also gonna add some garlic powder and some pepper. And just with the steam, it'll kind of stick to the potatoes. So I'll just move them around a little bit, give them a good shake. I have my shrimp already just sitting here. My rice is fully cooked, so that's already ready to go. I already took out the salmon when it kind of did burn a little bit from the bottom. I think I left it in too long. But that's just one salmon fillet. You can definitely do more than that. I just know that I don't eat a lot of it during the week, so one will work for me. And I am still waiting for the chicken to be done. Almost done. All right, so we got our food all lined out, ready to go. And now it's time to measure everything out and put in our container, which brings me to my tip number 3. And for my last tip is to use a food scale. The one that I'm using is from Amazon. I'll link it at the bottom bar, but it's very important that you're actually weighing the grams or ounces that you're using. Otherwise, you'll end up overeating and it defeats the purpose of tracking your calories. I can't tell you the number of times that I thought I was eating small meals until I started weighing my chicken and protein and thinking that I was eating 4 or 6 ounces of chicken. In reality, I was eating 10. So really get yourself a scale. It's going to make a big difference. Okay, so when you first grab this, get your scale, you want to obviously turn it on and wait till it turns to 0. You can change the unit here. Right now I have it set to grams, but you can set it to fluid ounces, milliliters, pounds, and again back to grams. So I already know that I want to do 130 grams of rice. So you can see that I put the container down and it's already measuring it out. So once you put the container that you're going to use, you zero out the scale, okay? And then you can grab the container and I'll just try to add about, I already kind of know what 130 grams looks like. And then if I put it back on the scale here, so it's measuring at 113, so just leave it there, David. 113, so I can add a little bit more until it hits 130. Now it's about 133. So you can, it's up to you how exact you want to be. You can obviously take some more out, but as long as you're pretty close, that's what matters. So I'm going to take my rice, and I already have some assembled here. So I'll just pour it in there. And I'll keep doing that until I fill up my containers. I think I'm just going to do 4 with rice and then 2 of them with potatoes because that's another source of carbs. And this is the only carbs that I want to use. All right, so I already measured out my chicken. I have 4.5 ounces of chicken. Anytime that you have your container directly on the scale, you want to zero it out before you add your additional items. So here I'm going to add some tomatoes. I'm using raw tomatoes because when you reheat them, they actually create this nice little sauce for your chicken and add some moisture. So I like that. All right, so I have everything measured out. I was able to get 6 meals out of this. So I'll definitely be eating these for lunch or dinner. Now I'm going to add the sauce, the tikka masala sauce. The way that you want to weigh your sauce is you want to put your container on there, the scale first, and zero it out. And then as you're using the sauce, you'll see that you'll have a negative number, so you'll be able to track how many grams you're using directly from the container. All right, so there it is, my top 3 tips for successful meal planning. Again, you can use these tips for any style of meal planning, whether you're doing keto, maintenance, or trying to do fat loss or muscle. You always need to track, right? Whatever it is you're tracking is your choice. But you can use these 3 tips for a long-term successful meal plan. So let me know in the comments down below if you guys are gonna try these and what you guys think. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Bye.